Hi guys, welcome to HR Fundas. In a day and age where even Wi-Fi is free, it troubles me to say that we are not. We're always worried about our safety and security. Of late, we have been seeing a lot of articles about the Me Too movement, and a lot of people have come forward to join this and also mention their ordeal of dealing with it. It's very disturbing to see that some people had to go through so much trauma while other people were enjoying the act. So this video is all about helping you avoid being a victim of Me Too. Look at this video from the perspective that maybe you are being looked upon as a harasser and not just trying to understand whether you are a victim or not. So once you go through this video, you will be able to understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable by other people, and hence you can be a little cautious yourself. So, are you fully aware of your own body language and behavior when you are out with your team or with other people in the company or in the group? What do you do when people discriminate at work? How do you handle freebies or favors being done for you by someone else in the office? How do you handle people who are acting weird around you? How do you handle people's unwanted advances? Should you tolerate or speak up? How can you say no to your seniors? And most importantly, can you help yourself? So although companies management and HR will come into action as soon as they will get the complaint and they will do their best to handle the situation, however, the damage has already been done. What you have faced cannot be undone. So rather than asking for help later on, why not become self-dependent and send out a message to all the people who try to invade other people's personal space that these actions will not be tolerated? Why not become strong enough to save ourselves rather than relying on others? So in this video, I'm going to share a few tips which will help you avoid getting into any situation and make you confident enough to handle people. So these are a list of do's that you should do while interacting with people, or if you want to avoid getting into such situations. Be fully aware of your body language. So when you are talking to people, make sure that you are not standing too close to them. You're not leaning against them. You are not invading their personal space in any way possible. Keep your communication crisp and clear. It's very important that you talk to the point and you're fully aware of what goes out from your mouth, because words once said cannot be unsaid. If somebody tries to make a pass at you, make it clear to him or her that such behavior is not acceptable. Understand where the conversation is headed, and if you are uncomfortable about it, please let the person know immediately. Always be neutral and unbiased towards all genders. So a lot of organizations, in fact, most of the organizations today, they are not biased on genders. Of course, there are specific rules which require specific talents. However, no organization discriminates on the basis of gender, and hence you should also avoid such things. Always be aware of your surroundings and people around. So it's okay if you are talking to your friends, but you should always be aware of where you're standing and what you're talking about, because maybe an onlooker or somebody who's just passing by might hear your conversation and can get offended. Try to learn some self-defense. Obviously, there are certain situations where you might not be able to depend on anyone else, and hence, if you know self-defense, then it always will be a better thing for you. If you're not comfortable talking to someone, however, your job demands so, do not give in to his or her pressure. You can figure out different ways in which you can communicate with the person. However, there is no pressure that you should listen to what he or she is saying, and also try to do what he or she is asking you to do. So you can send them an email rather than a one-on-one meeting. Or in case a meeting is required, you can meet the person along with your team member or maybe your manager or your HOD. In case you feel such a threat from your boss, then you can keep the HR or the HOD informed about his or her behavior before it's too late. So right at the very first instance where you feel threatened, you should discuss it with the HR. You can keep it completely confidential and let them know. In case there is anything further in the matter, you will let them know. However, if you're uncomfortable with it, you should not keep it to yourself. So these are the pointers which will be helpful for you in case you are a male or a female person, and also if you see somebody struggling with a colleague or with a team member or with a senior in the organization, please extend all sorts of help that you can so that the person can act confidently and not shy away from taking any decision. Now there are list of don'ts. So again, look at it from both perspectives so that you can be safe. Some gestures may be perceived differently by others. For example, leaning, touching, being too close to somebody, sitting too close to somebody. So please avoid these things. Do not assume that your colleagues would be comfortable with you touching them or when you invade their personal space. So please avoid. Do not assume that your colleagues or your team members enjoy sexually colored remarks or comments or jokes. So do not send them any mails which you think are funny, because they might not be able to get the fun out of it and it might come up against you. Do not send them any WhatsApp messages or any other communication like that. Your advances relating to people's appearance may not be well received, so avoid these. There is an HR department in place to handle such things, or the employees manager will handle these things. So you should not unnecessarily get into such arguments. Do not ask your colleagues questions about their personal life, like relationship status. Are they married, unmarried? Are they dating somebody? Please avoid getting into these questions as well. Do not use ambiguous words. As I've already mentioned, your communication should be clear about the topic that you're going to discuss and the content of the discussion. Please do not talk about things which are vague and which might offend people. Do not pass on mixed responses. Be clear of what you want to communicate. So maybe you are trying to stick to the topic, however, the other people might think that you want to talk about something else and you're just having a vague discussion about certain things. So if you do not have anything to communicate with people, please put an end to the discussion and walk away. Do not ask for out of the way favors or unnecessary favors. You have to understand that nothing comes for free. So if you're asking for favors, you will have to repay them somehow. Do not hold closed door meetings with female colleagues. You may ask some senior female colleague from your team or from the HR to attend the meeting if required. So let's say you are a manager and you would want to discuss a female colleague's performance which is not up to the mark. Now, because this is already a very sensitive topic and you are afraid that the person might take it into a different direction because of certain reasons, hence it is always advisable to take somebody along with you. The person should be senior enough to be able to handle the situation and understand the situation. Do not assume that your colleagues will confront you if they dislike your behavior. Some of them might just walk up to your boss or to the HR with your complaint. So, even if you are talking to your juniors or if you are talking to your team members, you should try to be as professional as possible. You should not try to cross the boundary line. You want to be friendly with your team. You can be friendly without engaging into any such discussion. These are some of the pointers that I wanted to share with you. Please ensure that if you are facing some sort of discrimination or humiliation or being asked for certain advances, that you do not approve of, you can definitely raise your voice on your own. There is no need to depend on people or bringing it to the notice of HR or management when it's too late. Tell the person then and there that you do not appreciate such things or such discussion. Tell the person a no means a no. You might have to say it a million times, but you should not give in to anyone's pressure. Instead of playing a victim, try to be a fighter. In that way, a lot of people will know not to mess with you. And you should let the harasser know that he did not pick up the right person to mess with. He should be very, very careful when he talks to you next time and should be fully aware of how he conducts himself in front of you. So, it's the need of the hour that we all come together and help each other against people who try to harass others. Let's make the world a better place for our families, our friends, our colleagues, and ourselves. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.